Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera on the video where I wanted to recap the 5-year anniversary. I wanted to talk about how I felt about the 5-year anniversary, what were my overall thoughts on the 5-year anniversary for Global, and I also made a community post the other day asking you guys what your overall thoughts were on the 5-year anniversary. Now, if you did miss a community post, if you want to comment down below your overall thoughts on the 5-year anniversary, you are more than welcome to. One thing that I did want to ask before I go over my thoughts, and then I will share some screenshots from the community post on some of the comments that I read in that post. If you want me to do a recap for the JP 6-year anniversary, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. If I see enough comments, I'll go ahead and do a video recapping the 6-year anniversary. But if not, it's all good. It's but that's one less video that I gotta do, since I do have some viewers who who do tend to be a little bit concerned at the fact that I tend to upload a little crazy sometimes, and I just can't help it. I like doing what I do. But yeah, if you want to let me know if you want me to recap JP's 6-year anniversary, and if you are a JP player and want to comment down below your overall thoughts on that, you are more than welcome to do so, and with enough comments I will make a video on that. But let's go ahead and talk about the Global 5-year anniversary. Now, before the 5-year even arrived, I honestly thought that we were not going to get anything like Global First wise. Like, if anything, it would have probably been events. It would have probably been maybe something completely brand new. But I definitely was not expecting an actual character to receive a Global First FR and BT, which was Penelo. Now, there was a lot of mixed feelings about Penelo. A lot of people were excited about it. Some people were just like, why Penelo? Like, why Penelo as a character? Not because of the fact that, like, oh, we got a Global First FR and BT, but just like out of all the characters right now, why Penelo? And I can understand from those players' point of view that, like, Penelo might not seem like a big hyped up character. You know, many players have expressed that they would have rather have seen somebody else, or maybe like a brand new character, whatever it is that it may be. You know, some players were not really too happy about the choice, but like, when you really when you sit down and take a look at like how Penelo is as a character, like, for what she offers, it's definitely changed some players' mind on how Penelo is as a character, because of course there's going to be some people that will probably not pull for her just because, you know, they're just upset about the choice or whatever the reason that it may be. But overall, in general though, with Penelo, yeah, I could kind of agree that she might not be like a big hyped up character than maybe some players, or many of us probably, would have chosen as a Global First character to get an FR on the BT. But for what she does, the support that she brings, and the damage output that she offers, I mean, she is a pretty damn good choice in my opinion. Like, and I'm talking about more so for what she offers. I do agree that, yeah, a better choice could have definitely been picked. Maybe they could have considered like doing a poll or something like that, which of course would have teased the fact that Global would have gone a Global First for the anniversary, which, you know, I could see them not wanting to do it because they wanted to keep it a secret. But overall, though, I do feel like Penelo, she offers a very good amount of stuff in terms of support and damage, and I'm pretty happy with it. And as a JP player myself, and even some of the JP players who do live in Japan, they praise Penelo for what she actually offers, and they can't, including myself, they can't wait for her to arrive in JP, because she'll have FR Echo. I mean, whatever is going on in JP, it could be something new, different, or just the same thing that we got going on right now. So a lot of the JP players who live in Japan are excited to have her come to JP at some point in the future. But like, overall though, I am satisfied with what she does offer, what she brings to the table. Now, in terms of events, I will say, and I can see why global players tend to push when it comes to having Global First events, Global First fights if we're lucky. I can see why a lot of global players tend to be pretty pushy on that fact that they want to see more Abyss or more Crevasse or maybe even more Dare to Defy. And we got Crevasse and Dare to Defy, which, hey, global first events, cool deal. I mean, Crevasse just dropped, what was it, last month or the month before in JP. And so JP players were having a blast with that, including myself, and especially with where we stand in current JP meta. I mean, yeah, we definitely have more options to use different characters because, of course, JP is about 7 or 8 months ahead, and so it was to some of us it was different. To other players who do not play the global version, I mean, it's completely new, and so that's, you know, when you really look at it, whenever global gets global first events and then it finally comes to JP, you know, it's exciting for many of us, and the same goes for global. The thing about global that, and this is why I mentioned what I said about why global players like having global first events, is because of the fact that global players have foresight. Foresight is definitely a powerful thing and can definitely change a lot of players' pool plans, but at the same time, it can also change when it comes from a business standpoint. And so, and when I say that, I'm talking about like the revenue that the company would be getting from players with foresight. Basically, like, you pretty much have an idea of what's going to be coming out 7 to 8 months ahead. So there's probably going to be many banners that many players will more than likely be skipping. And so, of course, yeah, that hurts from a business standpoint, because obviously they're not making any money from those who buy gems or costumes or whatever it may be. But from a player standpoint, it makes it so much easier for one to be able to plan out who it is that they want to pull. If they pay attention to the JP side, then they already know which characters are going to be worth pulling for, or a must pull, or a skip, or whatever it may be. So because of that, because we have foresight, we already have battle data, we already know like what the enemies do. We have so many websites that have that gives us the access to find out like, oh, what are the boss mechanics, what are this and that. If you're the player that does not like looking at that data before the event drops to global, then hey, it's going to be a surprise to you, because you're going to go in with not knowing what's going on. But for those who do all of that, who pull plan, who look up battle data, figure out strategies ahead of time, I can see why you guys want global first events, because like, you want something fresh, you want something that you have no way to be able to look up the details of that fight, what banners are going to be dropping with it, etc., etc. So yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. As a global player myself, as a day one global player, and as a JP player who's been playing for about 4 years now, I mean, yeah, I'm definitely all for the fact that like global should maybe consider having some global first events, or at least like maybe, I don't know, maybe like a monthly Dare to Defy, maybe some Crevasse every other month, or whatever it is that maybe they would consider doing, because that will keep things fresh. It will also grant additional resources that players can earn by beating these global first fights. And so hopefully maybe they could consider, because of course that will retain the player base from continuing to play the game, instead of just like straight up destroying the fight in 10 minutes and then it's like, okay, I'm ready for the next event. So hopefully later down the line, or if anybody from Square is watching this video, consider maybe having like a bi-monthly global first events, whether it be Crevasse, Dare to Defy, Abyss, whatever it is, because like, hey, global players, I feel like most global players do want it. There might be some that may not want it for whatever reason, maybe because their roster is not too big or the fights are too hard, whatever it may be. But I think I can comfortably say that it's a 50-50 between the player base when it comes to having global first events or whatever it is that they would throw at us. So for the 5-year anniversary, to have Dare to Defy throughout the entire month, to start off with Crevasse at the beginning of the month, was definitely a nice refresher, alongside with the events that already happened in JP that everybody was able to look up videos, battle data, etc., etc., so that way they were ready for said fight. Now, one thing that I do want to mention about this anniversary is when it comes to the timeline of banners it felt like a lot of these events kind of felt a little bit rushed. And when I say that, and I know the reason why, it's because we got our global first character, which was Penelo. And so because of that, they had to add these additional events, so on and so forth. So everything was kind of like squeezed into 1 month. But of course, I mean, like, hey, that's we pretty much had like what, 2 events per week, which of course is going to be changing very, very soon. Here, I do believe after the Neon event is when events or scheduled events are going to be changing to about 4 to 5 events per month compared to what we have currently right now on Global, where it's almost like almost 2 events per week. So things are definitely going to change in terms of what we are going to be getting every week. So basically what's going to happen, for those who do not know, is that I do believe after the Neon banner or after the VV banner is when we are pretty much going to be getting 1 event per week. And the reasoning why they did this, and I quote, it is because they want, because apparently at the time when this happened in JP, JP players did not have enough time to be able to play their other games, which is a bit of an odd statement. Like, I can understand for those who do play multiple games, whether it be gacha games or whatever other games that you play. So, I mean, I can understand if you are playing like multiple games, but it's still odd that all of a sudden they kind of like went that route. I mean, I've gotten used to it by now, because for JP, the events typically come out on late Monday night into Tuesday morning. So I already know that after Global, which normally does drop after or normally drops Sunday night, I at least already know that I have content the following day on Monday and then Tuesday, and then whatever it is that I want to do. So when we look at all of that, I will say that the events that dropped for anniversary may not have been like all that exciting compared to like what the JP version has, because of course every month is always going to be something new, whether it be like a new character getting an FR and or a BT, whether it be like a brand new event or whatever it is that's happening. I mean, JP gets everything first because they are 7 to 8 months ahead of time. But like the events that did drop for anniversary, I kind of felt like was not too crazy hyped compared to like maybe some of the previous anniversaries. But at the same time, I feel like the only thing that saved it a little bit was the Global First event, the Global First character, and then that's pretty much about it. So in terms of like the events and everything that we did get, it wasn't like too big a hype, but at the same time, because we did get our Global First character, or Global First weapons for Penelo, it felt like a lot of these events were like rushed. Now, you know, some players may not agree to that statement, but that's just how it felt for me, especially as a content creator trying to keep up with everything. It was a little bit hard, but hopefully in the next anniversary for Global, which would be the 6-year anniversary, hopefully we do land on a month where a lot of the events that drop for that month at the time that it released in JP, hopefully are much bigger and hyped up events that a lot of us can be excited for. So but I feel like, with that being said though, I think this anniversary was good. It wasn't like spectacular, it wasn't like anything hyped. I mean, I'm grateful that we still continue to get a lot of the Global First events. We are still getting a Global First character to get an FR and or a BT, or just like a Global First weapon, right? I'm grateful for a lot of the things that we do get on the global side, because like you know, if they really wanted to, they could have just not given us anything, and it probably would have been like one of the worst anniversaries ever. So I am happy that we did get some additional stuff. We got to go for us and all that good stuff, and I'm satisfied. Like, I'm not like oh my god, this was like the best anniversary ever, but I am satisfied with the contents that we did receive during our 5-year anniversary. So now we're going to take a look at some of the comments from my community post. And if you are wanting to give your overall thoughts on this video, you are more than welcome to do so in case you did miss this post. But we're going to go over a few. I said that I was going to screenshot, or at least I think I did, screenshot some of the comments. But I felt like this was a little bit more easier, and it's Saturday, okay? It's my day off. So I am feeling extra lazy today. But yeah, let's go over a few comments that I wanted to go over in this video. So the first one was by James. This was a good anniversary, just not the best of the 5 so far. I honestly think the devs realize the community has shifted and aren't putting as much resources into the hype surrounding the Global First and focusing on events, which is great. We have enough characters, which, I mean, yeah. I mean, I do feel like when it comes to like the resources, I at least like during anniversary or throughout anniversary, I do feel like with the additional resources that we were able to get if we were to complete like the daily Dare to Defy fights that would release alongside with the new with the events that dropped during anniversary, and even through Crevasse, and then of course the normal events, I do feel like the resources were pretty good. At least like for me myself, like my global account was a little bit tight on the force fragments, and like for what we got from the completion of like Dare to Defy, Crevasse, so on and so forth, I definitely have a good amount now for the next couple of months of characters who I'm going to be pulling for once again. And so I do feel like in a way I feel like it did help out some of the players, or maybe even some like the newer players who decided to play this game, and to some it's probably going to be a good amount for the next coming months. They continue by saying, I don't want this game to become Raid. I've never played Raid, so I don't know what's going on over there. I'd rather have 40 characters that have well thought out events than 400 unknown characters that all do similar things. That I can agree on. D2D is an amazing way to showcase the best of the best players, especially with the badge. That I do agree with. And I know for some players it was hard to be able to complete, or maybe if you haven't completed it yet, then hopefully you're able to do so with some of the characters that are going to be dropping during this month. Because I do believe D2D has like another week, maybe? I could be wrong on that. But hopefully for those who have not finished it, hopefully you are able to complete it with some of the characters that will be dropping here soon. But overall, though, D2D is definitely more so kind of like it's more so a veteran type event. It is more for a player who has a good roster of characters built. I feel like D2D may not be fully completed by a brand new player. Maybe if you did get lucky with some of your pulls, then if you started playing like maybe like 2 or 3 months before anniversary, then maybe you could have had a shot at completing D2D. I mean, I don't know how the hell I did it, but like with my Doodoo account that I have been streaming as of late, that account has a lot of characters that a lot of, like, let's say the veteran players would have, or even my main account, and somehow I was still able to complete it, which was, God, that was a pain in the butt. But regardless of that, you know. But it's different for me compared to like a newer player, because I am a veteran player, and I pretty much like know what every character does or what I'm doing compared to like a newer player. So I can understand from like a newer player standpoint, or any player who just recently started playing the game, that this event, if you do not finish it but you were able to complete some, at least you were able to collect some of the rewards. But yeah, this is that D2D is definitely more so for a like a veteran. Yeah, more so for veterans. Finally, I hope that more content brings badges like this. The next big event, I want a 3-round Shinryu event with a 6-man team. Let's have harder stages instead of these cookie-cut baby stages. And this right here, like this specific sentence right here, pretty much ties into what I mentioned earlier when I was going over. And the fact that like with global players having foresight or access to like content online from JP players, I mean, yeah, things do become pretty easy for a lot of players. For some players they may not, But for a lot of players, it's definitely going to be more easier because of foresight and all that good stuff, being able to look up fights and so on and so forth. So yeah, I wanted to definitely highlight this comment and share my overall thoughts on it. The next comment I want to go over was done by Ace. So he mentions, pretty fun, I would say, apart from the huge resources we got from, or we get from the daily tickets, the daily multis, the checkerboards, the others, the fights, and more. The fights are more manageable than last year's, mainly because we got more FRs under our belts this time around, which is true. Compared to what was it? I can't remember the last time we got a Global First event before Anniversary dropped, but I know a lot of players' biggest, I can't say a lot, but some players' biggest gripe against that Global First event, which I can't remember if it was D2D or Crevasse or whatever it is. It was around the time where FRs just like started dropping onto Global, and a lot of players did not pull for a lot of FRs, or they didn't have a good amount of FRs to be able to use, because either they were skipping out on FRs for stronger ones or whatever the reason it may be. So now that we are in a good time where a lot of good FRs have been released, I do feel like it was definitely much more easier for some players. So yeah, the difference is definitely night and day when it comes to like who really can beat these type of fights, like depending on like what roster of characters, what weapons you got going on, so on and so forth, compared to how it was back then. We continue on by saying, Dare to Defy still gives that delicious flavor of spicy team plannings that will test your character pool to the limits, which is true. Of course, the same couldn't be said with those just starting the game or haven't got ample units maxed out. I wish they would add some extreme bonuses for new players for the game to get more players in, which I do feel like for brand new players they usually do when it comes to new player checkerboards, because it does give you the ability to be able to BT plus a character, to be able to fully blue out their armor, so on and so forth. But I guess maybe some additional resources to maybe consider giving them like a second BT that they can max out or whatever it is, to help them into giving them that confidence to be able to beat harder content would not be such a bad idea, because I do feel like, and Ace also mentions it in this post, but I do feel like it would definitely help newer players out and keeping them into continuing to play the game every day. He continues on by saying, I know we've lost a lot of people here and there throughout the years, but if we can chip in to make the overall experience of playing the game for others better, we can make the community enjoyable for everyone to be a part of, because Ohana means family, family means no one. Okay, get out of here with your Fast and Furious quote line. But yeah, I wanted to take a peek at this comment as well, and also mention a few things that he mentioned as well. Next up is the comment done by Taku. So Taku comments, I still hate D2D and Crevasse stuff myself. I feel like the fights just limit so much. I stress and rack my head around who to use longer than the fights themselves take, since the characters can only be used once per fight. Which, I mean, is true. D2D, Crevasse, Abyss, they're definitely more so for players who have a pretty good roster. These type of fights where which again, I mentioned it during my overall thoughts on it. Like these type of fights, these global fights are usually fights that really do challenge a player. I feel like if you don't have the correct roster of characters, if you don't have different characters that do different things to cover different roles in a fight, then yeah, it could definitely be pretty stressful, and I can definitely understand that. Like these type of events, they're definitely not for everyone, and like people, like at the end of the day, as long as you do whatever it is that you can to try to get whatever rewards you're able to get, I mean, that's really all that matters. As long as you are able to get what you can, you're able to complete what you can, that's pretty much it. Like, you know, nobody needs to go on about and you know, play jokes on you. Not really play jokes, but like really just like at you because of the fact that they are able to beat it and you can. And that's the one great thing about this community is the fact that there are plenty of us. There are plenty of content creators. There are plenty of different social media outlets where you can get help, where you can check out like people's gameplays. You can check out what team count they use, and like hopefully you'll be able to get some type of idea on what you can do to be able to beat said fight. But yeah, I mean, these Global First events, they're definitely not for everyone. And it's definitely good, like if you are starting to like stress out about it, to just put your device down, walk away for a little bit, and you take a breather and do something else to try to keep you calm, because it's a mobile game. At the end of the day, it's a mobile game. You don't want to stress yourself out for a mobile game. So they continue on by saying, I feel like people confuse being forced to limit one per fight to freedom of variety. Variety maybe, though it's just the same boss fights and we fight them twice. At least this, it could be counted towards completion sometimes if you did D2D before, which I could have sworn if you did the actual Shinryu fight that they would have completed D2D as well. Maybe I'm remembering wrong or something, or maybe it's the opposite. I don't know. But freedom, no. Abyss is the same thing as well, limiting who you can use. This is all obviously a minority opinion from what I've seen, but that's how I feel, which is perfectly fine. Which, for anybody who just recently subscribed or anything like that, do know that whatever opinions you got that you have about whatever topic it is that I am going over, like everybody is free to give their opinions, whether it be an opinion that I may not agree on or somebody else doesn't agree on. Like everybody on this channel is always open to express themselves, whether it be like the complete opposite of what I feel about it, or this and that. So I appreciate you, Taku, that even though you feel how you feel about anniversary and whatnot, at least you were able to express it in this community post, which I thank you for, and to everybody else as well. Let's see, what did I stop at? Every event that does this is stressful. Still, was able to get it done, but I never look forward to or enjoy it. The rest of the anniversary was mostly kind. Pools went good, save for the daily FR multis. Took 3 weeks to get the first FR to show up, which I noticed that with a lot of players who were not getting FRs for like a very good minute. Like my main account, I don't even think I got an FR. Or if I did, I probably got like one. So, but I mean, I got Power Stones, which I actually needed. But yeah, it took 3 weeks for the first FR to show up and only got 2 overall, both of which I didn't need. A 7 out of 10 overall. And lastly, we are going to take a look at Alexander's comment. Now, they mentioned it was a pretty cool overall, although compared to the first, second, and fourth anniversaries, it felt a bit lacking, which, I'm glad that I'm not the only one who felt that way, because I felt like they could have maybe squeezed in a little more, but it is what it is. It's anniversary, we got a global first and all that good stuff, we got a good amount of resources, etc, etc. But yeah, I do feel like it's almost like there was something missing, or maybe I'm just overthinking it. I don't know. Let's talk Penelo. I love her kit, I love using her, but Penelo as a global first was a very questionable move on the dev side. I'm not someone who begs for character X or Y to be in the game. I haven't done that a single time in 4.5 years of playing. But out of all the Final Fantasy characters, picking the one who's inarguably amongst the least popular in the entire franchise was quite bold. Still, I'm personally indifferent. It could have been her or anyone else and I wouldn't have minded. I see Global First stuff as a complete bonus that we are not even entitled to receiving, which is true. I mean, like I said, like they could easily just be like, you know what, here's Anniversary Month, but it's just going to be the same like normal content. It's not going to be anything like big hype, etc, etc. It's just going to be like, here you go, here's the events. That's it. Bye. So they could very well have given us nothing, so I am thankful they went out of their way and they gave the community a toy to play test before JP gets it in a few months. We got the 50+1 poll, which I know some people were super hyped about. I also saw a lot of people being disappointed by what they got, despite pretty much everything making it clear that this banner was statistically net you nothing new, which is very true. And thankfully I got lucky with mine. I think I might second account, my doo-doo account, I think. I don't know which one of the two. But I did manage to get something that I know. I'm thinking JP, because in JP, my main account, I actually got Ash's BT, which I did not have. So the anniversaries banners, at least for my doo-doo account, like actually did give me a few new things that I did not have, like Cause F4 I did not have, and I was very happy to get it because it definitely helped me out in the D2D fights. Again, it was a complete bonus, and getting it late relatively to when it should have been released was a plus. I got a BT that I didn't have, so not disappointed. Even if I didn't get anything, it would have not changed my opinion. The free daily multi-draw is fantastic though. Statistically, you should get 2 to 3 FRs from that banner in total. On top of that, it's a source of random LDs that you didn't have, etc. People will say the banner is worthless because of the lack of power stones, but I strongly disagree with it. The banner is obviously made solely for the purpose of free pulling and nothing else, which is very true. It's very true. Like, if you are expecting to get something out of it, like, I don't know what to tell you, but like, it's a free daily multi-draw banner. I know that there have been some players, including myself, who have thrown some tickets at that banner, which is how I managed to get Cause F4 on my doo-doo account. But like, overall though, it's pretty much just like a free multi-draw. Like, if you don't get something that you don't get, at least you get a power stone. So, which, I mean, of course, I for me myself, I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but I hate seeing that 1 5-star pop up in that tail. Almost feels like, oh, here you go, player. Like, I feel bad for you, so here's a 5-star. I hate it so much, but you know, I'll take what I can get. The Crevasse event was a success in my opinion. The fights were not borderline impossible, and the codes allowed quite a lot of freedom in team building. If I had one minor critique, it would be that less popular weapon types like Whip or Sphere were pretty much completely locked out if you're a casual player aiming for all the rewards. D2D was fine the first time, and it was made even better now. I would actually be that one weird guy who would argue that the first D2D was better because the fights were funner. But from what I gather, the consensus is that this new one outclassed the first one in terms of popularity by a mile, which is true. And like I mentioned earlier, like, the difference between like the first one compared to the one we have for anniversary is that like we had much more banners that we were able to use to make it easier for some players compared to back in the day, which I do believe D2D, at least that one, release went right around where FRs just recently started dropping, but you guys can correct me. And so it was definitely different compared to how it is now. The BT cycle adjustments were fine. I do think that placing Jesse's event before Slice's IW is the only bad move here due to the artifact availability. But I mean, come on, artifacts in 2023. I sometimes tend to forget to do that in JP. But yeah, it was a little bit of a odd change. And they even changed something for this month as well, because technically our next event should have been Warrior of Lights intersecting worlds, but it's not. It's going to be Seven's event, the Heretic event, whatever it is. And then we'll get Warrior of Lights IW. So I'm not sure why they did that. I don't know if it's because of the campaign banner that they are trying to fit in for this month that was released in JP at the time that everything was, that all of these events that we are getting in March was happening. So I don't know. But you know, it is what it is. At least they didn't like change it too drastically. But other than that, the verdict for this player is that anniversary was good. So yeah, pretty in-depth comment. So, and there were many other comments in this community post, and also in my Discord server. I did ask people in my Discord server to let me know how they felt about anniversary, which out of everything that I had seen from everybody, I felt like these specific 3 right here, or just like at least like these 3 were like some of the ones that I did want to mention during anniversary, during this video. So thank you to everybody who did comment on this community post and in my Discord server. And again, if you missed out on expressing how you felt about about the 5-year anniversary, you're more than welcome to do so. in the comment section for this video. So, and again, if you want me to cover the 6-year anniversary for JP, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you do play JP, feel free to let me know how you felt about the 6-year anniversary. And again, if I get enough comments, I will consider making a video for covering the 6-year anniversary for JP. But other than that, though, guys, that's pretty much going to be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think. And overall, but not overall. And again, a thank you to everybody who expressed themselves in this post or in Discord. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.